You remember my friend Lucky earlier that I talked about? Well, he made it out. He survived. He landed back in San Diego. That last photo was a picture of us welcoming him. He had city council members welcoming him. He had a bunch of Truman members welcoming him. All these folks meeting him at the airport. And he moved to Texas shortly after that. He lives up in Fort Worth. He is a pillar of his community there. He owns the Afghan halal market there. He runs the
Isn't it the Afghan meat shop?
Well, hold on. We'll talk about that. Don't get ahead of me, Curtis. He runs the Afghan halal market in Oklahoma City. I got to visit one of those Afghan support centers, and we walk up to his shop. He's got a flyer for the support center up there. I didn't do that. He's just that into the community there. He's recently established a restaurant that Curtis and I got to go visit called the Afghan Meat Market. Curtis, why don't you tell us a little bit about what that trip meant to you?
So, I mean, first of all, it was just wonderful to see one of our Afghan allies who had set up, a thriving business. He just opened a new branch in Oklahoma. And so that was just great to see in terms of integration and success, in starting a new life in the U.S. But I think what we saw was, a bit of what Lila was saying. We saw his shop in Fort Worth becoming a community center for the Afghan community, particularly those who had newly arrived. So
he even had a barber shop in there. Curtis almost got a haircut.
He did. Thankfully, my hair had just been cut. But, when we first started this work and Afghans were on bases or just really arriving in their communities, we would rely on NGOs and city governments to set up engagements for us. But now, Lucky set up, a delicious Afghan lunch, but also a meeting with, 20 or so members of the community. And it was a chance for me to hear directly what issues they were having there in Fort Worth. They couldn't get their truck driving permit because they didn't have an employment authorization card that was valid, or it was about to expire, or they were having trouble with a family reunification case, trying to bring their daughter to the U.S. And those anecdotes and those stories are invaluable to us in government, because the next morning I got on a plane back to Washington and was able to use those in a meeting with the various U.S. government agencies involved to start to address some of those issues that people were facing.
Well, and our partnership had grown so strong by this point, this was last year, that heads of those agencies, chiefs of staff, the leadership in those agencies started calling me and letting me know that progress was happening. Hey, can we get some more clarity on this? We heard about Curtis's visit. And for me, Curtis and I have a great relationship, and for me, it's been so wonderful working alongside somebody who I know is doing the right thing, who I know is carrying forward the stories of these folks. What AfghanEvac
They kind of won't let me be in peace if I don't. So
conflict forward. But look, the thing that we do so well is we bring reality on the ground past bureaucratic filters and up to folks at the top, like Curtis, like the president, like Mara. And